Yeah.
Okay, we are in the square outside the Royal Palace in Madrid. Gary and Jordan walking along. Gary!
Yeah.
Hi!
Welcome to Madrid.
Yeah! Where's Jordan? Oh, there he is. Big tour group. What a fabulous day. Sunshine. It's absolutely gorgeous. Here's the palace. Children. All the children. What a wonderful, wonderful place.
First we have a castle here that was destroyed by a fire, and then they built this new palace. The kings of Spain were living here since 1764 to the year 1931. After that year, Spain had a republica and the king went out of Spain, they went in exile, and the republica lasted until the year 1936. In 1936 we had a civil war that lasted years until 1939, and at the end of that war in 1939 the head of state was the General Franco. Franco never came to live to this palace. He used to live on the outskirts of Madrid in a small sized palace called El Pardo, and he was using this building just to receive personalities in public audiences, this type of ceremonies. And when General Franco died in 1975, the monarchy came back to Spain as a system of government, and the new king was the grandson of the last one, so the King Juan Carlos I Bourbon, who lives on the outskirts of Madrid in a small-sized palace called La Zarzuela. But he comes very often to this palace to receive ambassadors when they come to present their credentials, or when we have a head of state that comes in official visit to Spain, and other ceremonies too. The rest of the time the palace is open to the public. And this is the main entrance. The guard you see there is the civil guard. The royal guard is different, has a dark blue uniform and red color too. And well, besides the palace, you see on this side we have the Oriente Square, means the Eastern Square, because this is the eastern facade of the palace. The theater in front of the palace is the Royal Theater for opera, and the statue. That statue is among the most famous in the world because it's representing Philip IV on horseback. That statue copies the first portrait that Velázquez, the painter, made of this king on the 17th century. In fact, that portrait is what decides Philip IV to employ Velázquez as his painter. The interesting thing of it is that it's made of bronze, but to maintain the equilibrium, notice that the statue maintains the equilibrium only with the rear legs. So to maintain that equilibrium, the artist made empty the body of the horse and the body of the king. And the tail, the horse tail, is massive. In that way, the weight keeps the equilibrium. So it's a very famous statue for that. And other statues you see in the square, the white statues all around, are the Spanish kings, the medieval kings, the descendants of the Visigoths that came to Spain in the 5th century. And they established the monarchy in Spain during the Middle Age. So, take a picture if you like. Let's have 15 minutes. Please, in 15 minutes right here. At 1:15, everybody here, because we have to be there punctual at 20 past.
The dome out there is the Church of St. Therese. Gorgeous dome. I hope I can get it. Hear the bells in the background. Here we are at the statue. Jordan and Gary. Gary? Jordan? Hey guys. Look at me. Hi! I'm going to walk around this and get it. This is the statue. She said that the body of the horse is, and the general on the horse is hollow, and then the tail and legs are solid so that it maintains the balance, or as she says, equilibrium of the statue. What a gorgeous thing.
Jordan pointed out the size of the balls on the horse.
Oh.
You want to be sure and focus on that.
I didn't even notice. Leave it to you guys. I'm sorry they're in the shadow, Gary. See us?
You guys are right between
Two of the kings.
Alonso number 1 and however you pronounce that guy. Whoops, I got a tree. I don't know who this guy is. Alonso number 1. Down here we have Alonso number 2. I don't know who his buddy is.
We have the Royal Guard at the palace on the horses on either side of the, I guess this is the main entrance into the palace itself. Just going into the palace, see the palace itself. We are in a gigantic courtyard. It's all enclosed. It's all the way around.
¿Te suena esto de la tele?
Sí, sí.
Hola.
Looking out from the entrance.
Only military parades when there is some celebration in the palace. And that building that you see opposite to the palace in front of us is the Madrid Cathedral, Our Lady of the Almudena. That was finished in 1992. We're not going to see them all.
It's this way.
Just 2,790.
2,790 rooms. We're inside the palace. The grand staircase. The ceilings. This is the ceiling. Oh, a gorgeous painting. Back up to the ceiling.
dedicated the statue to the Emperor Charles V. Who's Charles V? Well, we are going to be talking about him. He's the father of our King Philip II. This king is Emperor of Germany, Austria, and Hungary, and King of Spain. In our country is Charles I, the first of Spain.
Yeah, it says live.
Oh, it's recording online.
This. Oh, it's got to be a throne room of some sort. Look at this.
Bueno, please, we are now in the throne room, also in use nowadays. It's a presentation. The king receives all the representatives of different countries in Spain in this room. And the decoration is exactly the same that we had here in 1764 on the palace of first occupied by Charles I. You see there is the throne of the King of Spain. Notice that on top of the chairs there are two big medallions with the portraits of King Juan Carlos and Queen Sofia. And the lions that you see around, all these lions, are the symbols of the Spanish monarchy. You see these lions in the images of Spain. And the furniture is original of the 18th century. And you notice that there are two statues on the two sides of the throne. They are representing prudence and justice. They are part of the collection that you see all around that also represent planets and virtue.
This is the porcelain room.
Yeah.
Everything here is made of porcelain. You guys can go on. It's okay. Oh, I thought you were waiting for me. This is the official dining room.
These are from the 16th century. These are not
The size of the table.
from Erasmus, from Belgium, 16th century. And then looking around, you see beautiful vases. All these vases you have around. Some are Chinese. This one of the flowers are Chinese, 18th century. And the other ones, the flowers on top, are French. And they are 150 years old. When they illuminate the rooms, they light in total 2,000. This has been built 400 years ago, but the styling fashion was much more ornate. But Philip II wanted something extremely plain and austere. All these granite stone comes from the mountains, and the roofs are made of clay. And the king Alfonso XII established here Boys School. That's part of the building. That door, that end of the building is the Boys School. Boarding school run by the Brazilian community. It's one of the most prestigious schools in Spain. So now please you come into the hotel.
Great. Into the monastery here.
That were involved in the construction of the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. The statues are made of stone by Juan Bautista Monegro, a Spanish artist of the 16th century. And now we cross the courtyard and enter the arches into the Basilica. It's the first part we are going to see, the Basilica dedicated to St. Lawrence. As you see, the Basilica is a huge place. The King Philip II ordered his architect, Jono Ferreira, to give all the splendor to the Basilica. He said exactly these words: I want that you build a palace for God and a little hut for the king. And you will see that, because the rooms of Philip II in El Escorial are extremely simple and austere compared with this magnificent building, you see? Look at the big walls. All that is massive granite. But as you see, they don't look oppressive. Everything is light and harmonious. The architect, Jono Ferreira, is one of the greatest artists in Europe on the 16th century, working on this heavy material, but nothing looks really heavy. Everything is so perfect, so equilibrated. Look at the main altar there in front. The steps you see there are made of Spanish marble. And underground, under this altar, we have the royal tombs, the pantheons. We're going to go there later. The paintings we have there were made by two Italian artists, Zuccaro and Vivaldi. The artists that made statues were two artists, Pompeo Leoni and Leon Leoni, 16th century as well. And in the center, the tabernacle, where they keep the Holy Host, is a magnificent work made by other artists called Giacomo Trezzo. So everything as you see is really magnificent. Now here in this part you see up to the right and left the two organs that were added later on to the Basilica during the 17th century. There are four organs that can be played, for one in the center, right here in the choir. There are four organs in total.
Good job, Andy.
The statues to the right are representing King Philip II kneeling, facing the altar, and the members of his family. And up on top, his coat of arms. And on this other side is his father, the Emperor Charles V, and the members of his family. These statues are magnificent statues made of bronze by Pompeo Leoni and Leon Leoni. And the doors that you see under the statues are communicating the Basilica with the private apartments of King Philip II. The King Philip II, when he comes to live to El Escorial, to retire here, he is already sick of gout, cannot walk so much through the whole building.
We're still in the monastery, and I was
Trees and blossom.
looking at the hedges through the windows of the monasteries. Oh yeah, the trees are in blossom right there. That's neat.
Show them the area where they took the women down to be beheaded.
No, I don't think so. The burial chambers of the kings and queens. See the beautiful style. Each of these are the kings, queens that have died over the years. The staircase down to the burial chamber. Beautiful staircase going up.
There in a moment, they will be entering the Basilica. What I would like very much is this, please. The Basilica closes at 6:15. That means we have to go. Look, listen to the explanation. What you see there at the very end is the choir and the door that communicates the Basilica with the monastery where the Benedictine monks live. The Benedictines, besides having a boys' school, the boys' school is formed by the choir. The boys that sing in the religious services here at 11 o'clock every morning are studying in the Benedictine school, the free education. And besides that, they have a school of social studies, a superior school. See? Well, this long nave, 900 feet long, 1 foot longer than St. Peter's in Rome, is divided into different sections. This is the first section, marking the entrance, where we see these two angels guarding the entrance to the cemetery. We have 60,000 fallen buried here, although we are not going to see the tombs, because they are buried in double corridors behind the doors on both sides. And all the statues, the paintings, the ironwork, all this is the art of the 50s in Spain. Artists from different parts of Spain offer their work as a contribution to this magnificent monument. So you see, for example, the author of the Angels is an artist from the northwest of Spain, Carlos Ferreira. The one who made the gate, José Espinos from Madrid, and so on. We're going to see more things. Artist built of granite stone. And what we see here are 3 chapels on each side. On this side, we have Our Lady as Saint Patroness of the infantry, the Navy and the Air Forces. And on this side, our lady abroad, we have representing the beginning of the war, our lady of the mercy, remembrance of the war prisoners, and our lady of the pillar, marking the last battle of the war. All right, look please. This is a beautiful altar as you see. Notice the cross. The cross is a natural pine tree. That pine tree was cut from these woods we passed. And the statue of Jesus is painted good by Leovide, which is a Spanish artist that comes from the Basque country, the north of Spain.
Okay, this is the view from the Valley of the Fallen, which is the monument that commemorates those that fell during the Civil War in Spain from 1936 to 1939. It's carved into the side of the mountain, and this is coming out the front doors into the view. Just a moment, I'll go take a picture of it coming back. There's Jordan doing a little dance. He's feeling so much better. He's been so sick. Now this is the doors leading into it, and then there's the statue, and above it is the cross, which rises, I think it was 450 feet into the air above the basilica. And then back inside where we were is the tomb that's actually carved into the mountain, where the 60,000 people that fell or died, 60,000 of the people that fell during the Civil War are entombed, as well as General Franco. Okay, now we've gotten away from the building. You can see it in its entirety, side to side, and then moving back, looking up and seeing the cross. I'll rotate around. You'll be able to see the valley again that basically looks back towards Madrid. You can see this wonderful bridge. I'll back it off a little. I don't know if you can see it. Don't bump me, honey. Jordan just gave me a big hug.
Hi.
How are you doing? We found snow, albeit a very small pile. And of course the kids we're with are from Pasadena, and they're thrilled. And there's Jordan having a snowball fight with his dad. Here we are, snowball fight in Spain on February 16th. Uh-oh. Ah! You're gonna get me. No. This isn't fair. I'm taking pictures and you guys are throwing snowballs at me. Oh, thanks. There's the cross once again. Come down the mountain. You hear a bus in the background. Hey, this isn't fair. Hit somebody who can respond. There you go. You look cold, Gary. Here comes Jordan. He says he isn't sure this trip has been worth the money or the time. I'm not sure he's had a great time, but he's just been exposed to so many wonderful things and so many wonderful people. Our guide, a woman from Madrid, is just phenomenal. And they've all been so sweet to him. I'm not sure.
And I can't
can't quite take a picture. No.
So be ready, please, because we just passed by the bridge filled buckets. Look here on the left now. You see the best light now for the castle? The Alcantara Bridge.
200 years. This is a picture of Toledo. 200 years. It's found in the Roman Empire. Naturally defended because of the river down there, which goes all the way around this particular mound.
How do you turn it on? How do you turn it on?
Right there you see the cathedral, which we're going to be touring. And then this big building was the residence of the king back in the, oh gosh, what was it?
Did I get a snack?
Jordan, there is no snacks.
There is.
Where? Just Jordan? It was the Emperor Charles V.
We got like 15 pictures of this one place.
Have you already?
Yeah. Bro,
Okay, so it was Charles V, Kathy,
yeah.
and the King Charles I. He was one and the same. And what was the year, Kathy?
This was in beginning of the 1500s.
Okay, beginning of the 1500s. So it'd be the 16th century. Fabulous.
Is that the castle back there?
Castles.
Yep.
Yeah, that is the king's.
I got a picture of that.
What it was
This
called?
building that you can see in the picture
Yeah.
now, it's called the Alcázar.
Alcázar.
Which is the Arabic word
Okay.
for a castle.
Okay. And then this was naturally defended by the river
Yeah,
because
the
it
river runs
circles.
nearly all the way around the town.
Okay.
And the river's called the Tagus.
The Tagus River.
T-A-G-U-S.
Okay. Phenomenal. And all the fortifications that run around it.
All through down the hill. Shit.
Wow.
It's nasty.
The main gates that used to be into the city of Toledo and Alta. And they were walking in the various, here's part of the kids in our party. But the streets are very narrow.
Okay, guys, we're going. Let's go.
Walking all over, doing a walking tour here at Toledo. There's Gary. This is the entry gates into the cathedral. And this is the town square. The statues. Very tall spires. Then you can see the great big spire here. It's more of the square. Come over to the fountain. Again, the government building, I believe. The offices here. Gary and Jordan. Jordan's so fascinated. Every store we go by has the swords. He's so excited to be able to see the swords. Don't bump me. We're walking down one of the narrow streets on our way from the cathedral to the knife. Looking at the bridge now, we're above the bridge. Looking down on the city. The new city, I guess it would be. This is a bridge built back in the 1400s. 14th century, so it would be 1300s. Built at the same time as the cathedral. This is the gate that everyone had to pass through to come into the city of Toledo. Across the bridge we've gone through the gate, going through the bridge, across the river. And that's the gate we just came through. There they are.
Hey, this was built in the 13th century.
Isn't that amazing? So it'd be the 1200s. The Bridge of St. Mark. We look back on. There's the cathedral. And there's the city of Toledo. There's Gary coming out of the gate, walking across. Pretty impressive, Gary, huh?
I'm a Roman conqueror.
It's the next gate we go through to get out. We go across through one gate, across the bridge, and out through this gate. Again, there's the gate. Kathy, your guide. And we can cross the bridge that we just walked across. Phenomenal to think it's still standing. Okay, we are now in Cordoba outside the mosque, getting ready for a tour. Just having had a wonderful lunch in Jordan, and it's totally out of control. John's sitting waiting for the... Yeah? Letting it settle? It's a wonderful little town. It's about a 4.5-hour bus ride. It's all the group waiting to go in through the doors of the mosque. You see the big sign up there. And on down the street, it's a big statue with, I don't know, a saint on top. That's all I can remember.
You like the city? It's so warm outside. Inside, it's really very, very cold inside. You know, I heard somebody ask me, what is that? What do you think is this building? What do you look for? You look like a castle, that's right? Like a fortress. On outside, the walls. But this building is a Catholic church. What does it look like? Look like a park around here. The reason is because before it was a mosque. Mezquita, mosque, meaning that was the temple for the Muslims.
Okay, I got it. I hear you.
But before then, they were here the Romans. So that means this building will be like a mini salad. We'll see things for Roman time.
Inside the mosque. Dates back to, 1200 BC was when it was taken over as a Catholic church, and prior to that it was a mosque, because the Arabs had invaded Spain, come across from Africa and invaded Spain, and then they built this into Muslim community.
Used by the new religion. Enemies. But they used the same word. The only thing will have to be done just to change things anytime they need them. Since they came here in the 1200s. That's why in the 16th century was the time of the Emperor Charles V. It was decided to have a new Grecian altar. That means the part in the center, or the huge forests of the columns that were around here, part of them in the center, they were destroyed. To open the new Christian part, 3 times higher. So that means if you look behind you, we can see the 3 steps of the history of the city. We can see the columns and capitals that are from Roman time, arches from Arab time, but the ceiling is Christian, plus the huge pilasters on both sides to maintain the balance. That means the new Christian part saves the building. To maintain that, they have to maintain all the arches around, supporting the weight in the center. And here we can distinguish the 3 main things in between the mosque and the church. First, orientation as a mosque from north to south. This building is facing Mecca, supposed to be facing Mecca because they make a mistake. Mecca is southeast. They make a mistake in purpose. They meant that not because they have no idea about geography. They never care about it. The reason was politics. The ruling family, the one who took the power in Cordoba, the one who became more and more independent here in Cordoba, decided to build a mosque according to the one they lost in Damascus, in Syria, the city they lost. That means this building is facing Mecca in the same way that Damascus is facing Mecca. Because for them, politics was more important than religion. For Christians, from west to east, Jerusalem, on the other side, is the main altar where every day still having service, Catholic service. Second difference, light. This type of mosque, the light was lighting down through the doors, windows. The ceiling was flat, having a couple of cupolas down there to recognize direction to Mecca, having chandeliers all over. For the Christians, the light comes from top, from heaven. And third, decoration. For the Arabs, it was forbidden to represent images. Their decoration was all the time flowers, geometrical designs, inscription in Arabic, never statues. They cannot represent God. Never, never inside the mosque. For the Christians, there are plenty of statues all over. There we can see St. Peter with the key of the paradise. Oh, you're so well educated. For one, have to support me.
You mean they weren't allowed to draw at all?
That's right, it's not allowed for them to draw at all.
Still no.
Still the same story. Well, in fact, in palaces, in the Alcazar have been discovered also big.
It's phenomenal, isn't it?
Doors, why it's so big? Well, for the Christian, it's different. The doors over there is so big because they're used as well to have processions. So they have to take a procession inside this building. That's why usually the cathedrals have huge doors to be opened and to carry inside the processions. It is also to have the same proportion. Came to the doors. This cupola here plus the three that were down there. So the Christians, when they were using this building as a cathedral, they have to have the main altar. Where to? Here. They have already light from top. The only thing to be done was to change the orientation of the building, facing east, not facing south. That's why right there, but now we can see the Jesus with the cross there. Right there was the altar. The Christian was there. I'm talking about the 1200. 15th century, the time more or less, a few years before the discovery of America, was decided to destroy all this line of architecture there to open this name Gothic. That's why the same, the single windows, that's why the architect wanted it. And here was the primitive cathedral. We have the Catholic service, and the new one over there was finished. The decoration like it was in the old days. Still having inscription in Arabic. The partings of their geometrical designs. The flowers. All that is made with tiny cubes of glass. Mosaic. Byzantine mosaic. Glasses. Have a look to the ceiling. The two corners as well covered up with I'm talking about something was made by Christians working for the earth. 1,000 years. Top, the way out to recognize where nothing would be lost forever here inside. And I will give you a few minutes in order to want to take pictures, but please, quiet and without forgetting where you are. Catholic Church. Okay?
This is the main Christian altar.
Let's go to point out the way out. And in 5 minutes, I will be waiting for you outside. If you be around.
This is the choir area. 90 singers, members.
Around the mosque. When it became a proper church. That's why it was decided, was chosen afterwards as the Jewish quarter for Jewish people to live around here. Not anymore. The walls, they are from the 12th century. Picture taking already? I'm looking at you. I feel good.
This is the old town.
Again, we're leaving Dubai.
And the gates to the courtyard that are decorated.
Kind of looks like our courtyard at home.
Sure. A little lemon tree. Heading back now towards the mosque down another alley. This is a courtyard. Let's see it. All the motorbikes. And this is where we came, down this alley.
Now you're tripping.
Sure.
No.
Hey Taylor.
You didn't see that? Money, let's go. I want to get the money. Money. Oh no. I got the money. Oh God. Oh my. I don't have the bottle. Reggie! Oh my God.
I remember how old this thing is, but it's a bridge outside of the mosque that was built, I don't know, 700 or 800. Still standing and still taking the traffic. This is in Andalusia. And again, there's looking back on the mosque.
I'll
And
look it up.
what would be the old town. History here is what's so amazing. I think that this thing was built hundreds and hundreds, thousands.
Where the palace is, where the castle. You know, the city is still holding 47 monasteries since the Middle Age. The one we are having ahead of us is one by the nuns of the sister. You see a castle inside the old town. You see also around 100 palaces. During the time of the discoveries, the city were having the monopoly of trading. That means at the beginning, expeditions going to Africa, later on, after Columbus. On the right, you find a red man, you see him? Second wife and his
Christopher
two
Columbus in that
children,
monastery.
Diego and also Hernando Columbus. You see, later on the 19th century, the monastery was empty and became a ceramic factory. And this is why we find the ovens, we find the chimneys on the right.
Where was Christopher Columbus buried?
Yeah.
Over there. Oh. Okay.
Well, you see, it's a bridge taking people to the monastery, and very close to the bridge you find a medieval ship. Do you see on the right, the black one? You see there?
Yeah.
This is the ship used by Magellan on the first journey around the world.
A real one?
No, it's a replica. The bull ring in Mexico, the bull ring in Madrid, and the bull ring of Sevilla, probably the three most famous ones. Here is the place where Manolete became Matador. You may remember, Manolete was considered the best one of the bullfighters. He died because of a bull on the year 1947, Manolete. You see the typical yellow and white color of the city, Plaza de Toros. And you know, a bunch of young people, and among them now is a woman.
These are famous white pigeons of Seville. Yeah. Jordan's getting some food. This is the Parque for the Americas, it says. Beautiful park, all the statues, and the fountain. Look at this fountain with the birds. I hope the color shows up. It's so beautiful. Everything is blue and yellow and green. It's just gorgeous. Here's Jordan, Dad. Come over here, Jordan.
I'm trying to have one get on my shoulder. Hey, how did I get on my shoulder?
Yeah. There, Jordan.
Yes.
Gary, get a picture. Gary, get a picture.
They don't have a camera.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do. Jordan, turn around, honey. There. What a cute picture.
Hey, Jordan. Look at Dad. Jordan.
Oh, that is so great.
Now what are you going to do with it? That goofy bird.
Careful, Jordan. Careful.
Funny. That's great.
Look at him. He's got his face in the
Yeah,
feathers.
he's got his face in that bird. He thinks he's got a
Get a
tail.
picture again. Got a bird.
Got him, bud.
See, look, I pet it under the plate.
Uh-huh. It looks like it's really calm now.
Gonna sit down.
How can you identify it?
The dark.
Plaza de España. We're getting the sun here in a minute. There's a fountain way out there. Huge plaza.
Mama, they have fishes.
Beautiful building.
200 pesetas, tú la colección de la Plaza España. 200 pesetas. Tú la colección de la Plaza España.
Coming this way, please.
These are tiles done all around with scenes all around the plaza.
You just. Looks like your tongue never speaks. Look.
Wow. It's all hand-painted tile. Done tile.
He said that he will do the Pavilion of Spain if nothing be changed on his original project. And Madrid signed it. So here is the idea of one man without any chain. Nothing was chained. You know, the country is always chained, a little bit here or another chain there, but here not chained. As you can see, he made double column. That is representing the Strait of Gibraltar. Those are the columns of Hercules. You remember, for the Romans, for the Greek, that was the end of the war. The columns of Hercules. With the discovery of America, that was the gate of a new war. And you see, everything is made on brick, ceramic, wood.
You gotta move your mouth, and move your mouth, buddy.
This is a tile. Each one of these represents a 52 provinces of Spain. There's the arched bridge, looking back on the main building. There's the bridge. What do you think?
Look what happened there.
I know. Right there?
Right.
Right there. Somebody broke it, huh?
Somebody broke it.
Yes. Some vandal.
Beautiful fountain. Still in the plaza. What?
Can I get my feet wet?
No, you cannot. It's a horse. Gary taking a picture. What a beautiful spot. Back at the fountain. Out in the background.
What's this called?
The Plaza of the Americans. Plaza of the Americans. Out there playing.
Got the little one following the two big ones.
Yep. You kidding? Use up some energy. Pharmacia. We didn't know, Jordan. Here in Sevilla. Going into now. Jordan says, why do we have to see another church, Mom? We've seen thousands of churches on this trip. Which is true, but they're all so beautiful. Sevilla is just incredible. Hey guys. Comes the horses. It's the church, the chapel.
Did I go catch up?
No.
So in the city living Christians, Jews, and also Muslims, the three monotheistic religions. On the 12th century, the Muslims needed a huge, big mosque for the celebration on Friday, and they built this one. The Christians conquering the city on the year 1248, a few years after, and then the mosque became a Christian church, like the little mosque on every neighborhood, until a earthquake destroyed the mosque. And then a few years after, the Christians decided to build a cathedral where the mosque. And this is why the cathedral is so big, because you see the superficie of the old Arab mosque. And in the cathedral we find several important things. For example, the altar, which is considered the largest one in the Christianity. This is the place where many people from the royal family get married.
This is the largest
Last
altar
one that married here was Princess Elena
in the world. This is the largest Gothic church in the world.
Able allowed to go inside. Well,
They have lots of cool statues.
Gothic style. Also, this is
One of the princesses of the country was the last one married here.
The whole year on, because you know this is called
And there's a
Holy
medallion
Year.
of
You know,
God
Rome is celebrating
Jesus.
a Holy Year 2000. So on every one of the Christian churches, they are having a special altar for celebrating this year, like Holy. And then on the other side, up there, you see 4 men holding the grave of Christopher Columbus there.
Oh, that's the grave. That's grave of Christopher
4
Columbus.
men representing the old 4 kingdoms. Remember, Castilla, León, Navarra, and Aragon. The 4 kingdoms get united.
This is the grave of Christopher Columbus.
Isn't that something? Here we are at lunch in Sevilla. Yes.
I can't believe it.
Today we're outside the Palace Alhambra. Starting to get my R's rolling here. Keep me around long enough. Back up, Jordan, and I'll get your picture. Don't be goofy. So how are you today? How are you?
Good.
Are you?
How are you?
I'm good. Gonna go into the palace.
That's so big.
Yes.
We
And
paddle.
she was saying it was built in the 12th century, 1200, the 1100s, 1200s. Yeah.
Mama, do you have my camera?
No, I think it's in your carry-on, sweetheart. See some of the countryside. Men with their brooms. I love the brooms. The castle, more of it. It's back towards town. See? Do it slow, Jordan. You can't go quick. Because then people watching it get sick. The picture shows it, but there's a wall that would run up the side of the hill. And that would have been probably protecting the palace. Harry and Elsa. John packing up, ready to go in. Senora. Some of the girls.
If you go to the far end of this courtyard and look at the hill, to your right, top right, you will see the holes of the entrance of the Gypsy Gate.
Ooh, we zoom in, see the holes on the hillside. Those are the gypsy caves. And they actually still live in them. They actually reside there, and I guess they do some flamenco dancing. Underneath the wall.
Lisa, Kaylee, you gotta go in. Come on, quickly.
Coming into the palace, Carlos V.
Bullfighting arena.
I'm going to fall off the step here. Come around. Some intricate work.
I would like to have half and a half, please. We are 20 at the beginning, we have to be 20 at the end. Okay? That means you keep in this group for during all the visits. I will explain you not so very much. The visit will last about 3 or 4 hours of explanation.
Forget it. No.
What's so no about that?
He's still asleep.
No,
It's 3 or 4 hours.
the average of the visit is about 2 hours. That will be the time we need. The first half of the tour is inside, visiting the palaces, and then the second half gardens, beautiful gardens. Okay. No more than 2 hours. Anyway, I will give you not a long explanation. You will have also time to take pictures. In case you want to have more explanation, tell me. In case you monument in Spain, we have an average of more than 2 million visitors every year. It's a big number. And the name is Alhambra. The Arabic Kalat Alhambra means the red castle. Coming here, when you come from outside, you see the walls a little bit red. In the old days, the color was very, very red because of the clay. They got the clay around the hill here to build the walls, and they saw a red castle, and they collect that. Who built the Alhambra? At the beginning, the Arabs start to invade from Arabia many countries, right and left. To come here, they passed Egypt, north of Africa, and many people joined them, became Muslims, and came together. The year 711 mixed with the Arabs and Egyptian and North of African people past Gibraltar, and very, very quickly they invade what we call now Spain and Portugal, Iberian Peninsula. 20 years later they were in France, and that was the maximum they got. Later Christians start the reconquest from the north to the south, and very, very slowly the Christians reconquest the same place in 800 years. And if you notice the contrast, 20 years, 800 years. And then the facade in the back. That was the entrance of the second palace.
Mom, just a minute, please. Don't talk.
Okay, in this patio, I recommend you to go there and there to take the picture like this. And do it.
Get out. It's a teeny little man.
Yeah, I know.
Have a look at the ceiling. It's a beautiful ceiling. Inlaid work. That ceiling represents the 7 heavens of the Muslim paradise. Sometimes people say, I feel like the 7th heaven. That came originally with the Muslims because when they died, according how nice people were here, they go to a different heaven. And the best is the 7th, closer to Allah. Like a dome shape being God and around 7th heaven. Coming down, we have a lot of beautiful decoration. Do you see the Arabic writing? I don't remember your name. James. Do you see the Arabic decoration on the walls? Yeah.
Over the doors?
And the special writing, like this side. Yes. Okay. But don't forget the Arabic writing from the right to the left. Then you have to find another there. There.
Yeah.
This is the same you have here. You see? This is the same. Here. 1, 2, 3. Another similar, like this. That there is just one conqueror, Allah. Allah is like a W. Like a W. It is very, very easy because there are many. Allah.
Yeah.
And don't forget, gives the money here to Christopher Columbus. Do you think that is true? He got the money in USA dollar traveler checks? Okay, very good. Then, now we go back to the patio, and there.
Our guide was just saying that this is the room where Christopher Columbus finally obtained his money from Queen Isabella to have permission to explore and find America. Wow. Right there, he stood. And that would be where they sat. Said the most photographed patio. Just imagine this all completely painted and in color. The reds, blues, golds. Palace of the Lions, or Patio of the Lions. Sorry. Hold on, your camera. It's the original stained glass from the dating back to the 700s or 900s. This is the city.
With the video, you can use the zoom to see the caves.
And they still reside in these caves, right?
Amore. Aye. Is the maximum zoom now?
No.
Hey, you see the cave there?
The maximum.
Oh, I do. Yes. See.
Arriba, ahí. The church of St. Michael. And then down, all the caves.
And they still live in them.
Sí. Nice garden, and we will see beautiful gardens. But here, 50 years ago, was built this place to have the festival of.
This is looking back at the palace. Some of the gardens, some of the trees in bloom. Looking back at the mountains. I think those are the Sierra Nevadas here in Spain. That's what they said. Beautiful sunny day. See the spire on the church.
We go round, then we take
See the fountains and the